Hi folks, this video is a introduction to your course syllabus and I guess an introduction to the course itself for Music 100, the popular music history. I'll try to keep this relatively brief. The purpose of this, besides an introduction, is so that we don't have to do this on the first day when we see each other. You might be watching this after the first day, in which case, good to see you again. But we'll kind of walk through the syllabus here, and you have this as a reference to keep coming back to. It's not just to save time, it's being able to review things I might have said or clarified here, and so that we can dive into actual stuff on the first day of class. So, in the interest of getting to it, let's get to it. Let's look at the syllabus here. So there's multiple sections for this class. The syllabus is basically the same. This one you see here is for the 930 section. And let's look at a few things. We'll look at a number of things, but right off the bat, you can tell that there's an emphasis here on this being a device-free course. So phones, tablets, laptops, smartwatches, all other electronic devices are prohibited. There's more on that below, but that's for front-loaded at the top of the syllabus for a reason. Don't want you to use that. Course objectives. You'll read through this carefully, but the course will explore the history of popular music from roughly 1820 through today. As a matter of course, we will distinguish between music that is popular and a more refined notion of popular music. That is, music that manipulates reproduction and commodity culture to achieve widespread distribution. Hence, in our terms, popular music begins with the revolutionary changes in music production that took place with minstrelsy. That's really where we start, 1820s, and really explodes in the 1830s. This is not a survey course in the sense of attempting to cover the entire breadth of popular music during that extended period. That would be impossible. So what are we up to then? Instead, this course focuses on specific moments and genres from the various decades and examines them through a philosophical, cultural lens. Popular music impacts us on the personal level, the communal level, and the impersonal level. For all of those ways, popular music is always at once art and commodity. It's one, really, maybe the primary theme of this course is to look at not popular music as a thing by itself that sounds a certain way, or as the province of, pernicious businesses or money, greedy, hungry capitalist enterprise. It's always this dance, this play between those two. Those two elements cannot be severed. So tracking how those levels and elements have been worked out at various stages of history will be a major part of our concern. Thus, this class will contribute to the following learning outcomes. Identify key periods, songs, composers, performers, technological advances, and ideas within the history of popular music from 1820 to today. Classify songs according to genre, period, and style and technique. Outline the key historical and critical elements pertinent to a given artist or genre. Critique songs of the period with respect to historical and philosophical concerns. And of course, by critique, we do not mean to find something bad to say, not being critical in that way the word is used, but being focused in our analysis, right? Critiquing something. Appraise critical writings on popular music from 1820 to today. Produce writings that take a critical stand. You see this word critical coming over and over again. And on our first day, we, of course, spend a lot of time talking about what critical thinking is and what does it mean to take a critical stance, like number 6 here, on issues in popular music as well as your own taste, distastes, and modes of listening. Imagine how specific historical figures would have interpreted specific genres. Demonstrate critical thinking with respect to philosophical and cultural concerns in the history of popular music. And then you'll have all of these creative expression core outcomes as well. A zero-cost course, right? There's nothing that you need to pay for. All readings are provided as attachments on Blackboard by me. They're also on Dropbox if you want them there. Course requirements. So here's our breakdown. Quizzes are worth 60 points. You have to do 12. There are 14 quizzes in total, so you can do more than 12 for extra credit. But if you only do 12, you're not penalized for not doing those other 14. In-class group assignments, 30 points total, 3 points each, and then you must do 10 of those. Music as experience, and there are 2 assignments here, 50 points total, 2 assignments. The personal anecdotes worth 25, neighborhood ethnography is worth 25. But we lump it together as one thing. Group projects are worth 90 points. The guiding questions, and so this is all the group stuff, right? 90 points total, broken down as follows. Guiding questions for chapter discussion, 20 points total. You have to do 10 as a group. Ragtime project, that's 35 points. American Bandstand project, 35 points. And all of those assignments are explained in a whole lot of detail on Blackboard, those assignments. Imaginative writing is worth 20 points. What would X say about Y? You have a beat making assignment worth 20, and participation is worth 30 points. All that together is 300 points. Now, because this is a device-free course, you must bring paper and pen and pencil to every class session. You must also bring a printed copy. I really should say you should bring a printed copy of the chapter being discussed on session days with reading assigned. If printing is prohibitive, if whatever, the computer lab isn't working, I understand those things happen. Even more reason that you have to have pen and paper, because what you can't do is bring your laptop or a tablet to look at your chapter. So you can take diligent notes on the reading and just bring your notes, and that's totally fine too. Or you should do that. All materials for this class, including detailed instructions and guidelines for individual and group assignments, are on Blackboard and/or Dropbox. All assignments must be submitted on Blackboard unless otherwise noted, and I do not provide extra credit assignments. I do not take attendance. However, no student will be allowed to enter the classroom if more than 15 minutes late. Late students disrupt class and often compromise group discussion. So you won't be counted absent, right? I don't take attendance. So whether you never come to class or whether you come to every class, there's no attendance grade that's being impacted by that decision. There is, of course, your in-class, your participation grade is affected, and your in-class group assignments are affected. If you're not there for those, then obviously you don't get a grade for those. But just because there's no attendance doesn't mean you can show up whenever you want. So you need to be there within the first 15 minutes for sure. Okay, here's my long authoritarian electronic device policy. As noted at the top of your syllabus, this is a device-free course. Phones, headphones, tablets, laptops, smartwatches, and other electronic devices are prohibited unless otherwise noted. You will typically be encouraged to use your device during group work. If you are on your phone 3 times inside the classroom, you will earn a 0 participation grade automatically. Right? If you are on your phone 5 times, you'll fail the course. So it sounds harsh and punitive, and the punishment doesn't appear to fit the crime. I get that. But the thing is there's an easy way to avoid it. Don't be on your phone. And if you want to be on your phone, you can be. You just need to walk outside the classroom. Okay, and that's explained here. Our time together revolves around thoughtful discussion, which can only happen if we give our full attention to one another. It is disrespectful and disruptive to look at or use devices in a professional setting in which you are expected to participate in discussion. It distracts other students, it distracts me, and hijacks our collective learning and teaching opportunities. There are numerous courses for which devices are consistently useful and effective in-class tools. This course is not one of them. If you need to use your device, just step outside the classroom. I do not and will not ask any student why they are leaving class. We are all adults who are entitled to respect and privacy. So whether you need to look at your phone for a family emergency, you forgot to send an important email, or just want to scroll TikTok, you should leave the classroom, do what you need to do, and come back ready to participate. So no phones, tablets, even headphones, like leaving your headphones in your ears, none of that stuff. Device free, not because I'm an old man distrustful of technology. I mean, I am that, but that's not why this policy is in place. It's because it takes away from our discussion. Okay? So you don't need devices. Weekly assignments and accessing course content or the course readings are available on Dropbox on our Blackboard site and on our Blackboard site. The reading, listening, viewing for each session is listed in the schedule of classes below. You do not need to send responses to guiding questions, though you should be prepared to discuss them. And all of that will be discussed here too. Students should take notes on the reading and listening and the videos and be prepared to discuss them. Repeated failure to prepare will result in more written assignments of greater length to compensate for the lack of class discussion. Hopefully that's not an issue and that we all have plenty to say. Group placement and assignments. So you'll be placed in one of 6 working groups, and the 6 groups are geography, society and politics, sound and image, economics, identity, and technology groups. You will meet with your group for in-class assignments during class and 2 other projects outside of class. You will also have to prepare discussion questions, 1 per chapter, with your group for in-class discussion for the class as a whole. All assignments are detailed on the assignment sheets and they're listed on a Blackboard. The purpose of the groups is to promote collaborative learning and to foster critical thinking. All group assignments will be submitted via Blackboard, right? So the only thing you're submitting, you're doing in-class work as a group, and that's discussed below. The in-class work as a group all the time, and then your guiding questions you'll be submitting to me before class every time we have a chapter reading, so 14 times. But I guess the first chapter I don't make you do that, but 12 times, 13 times. Guiding questions for the chapters and your group assignments is really all you're submitting as a group. Every group will submit, so here's the group guiding questions. Every group will submit a guiding question for at least 10 chapters. You must email me your guiding questions no later than 5 p.m. the day before the class session for which the chapter is assigned. So that's so I can get them all together for class the next day. For example, if chapter 4 is assigned for Monday, January 9th, right? Chapter 4, Monday, January 9th, your group must email me your guiding questions by 5 p.m. on Sunday, January 8th. So you're assigned something for the 9th. That means you're going to get me the question the day before on the 8th, or any time before, but by 5 p.m. on the 8th. That way I can put them all up for everyone to look at by Sunday night, hopefully. Your guiding question should be focused on your group's theme and draw, so your group's topic, geography, sound and image, whatever your group is. So your guiding question should be focused on that and draw from the chapter's content and or assign listening. These questions are meant to guide discussion. They should not have or seek simple answers like yes or no, recalling dates and names. To guide, then, is not to ask about facts or general information. Rather, to guide is to spark thoughtful conversation and or debate through insightful observation and interpretation. Here's an example of a good guiding question. Objectors to gangster rap often claim it promotes and glorifies violence to sell records. Defenders consider gangster rap a laudable artistic expression of street realism and defiant resistance to oppression. What sounds, lyrics, imagery exemplify both sides of this argument and how? What side do you fall on and why? Are there really only 2 sides, or is the issue more complicated than that? So that's a bunch of different questions, right, in one, but it kind of works as a one general thought experiment and question. This question demonstrates a command of the subject matter, addresses an important line of contention, and asks students to think critically. Moreover, like most good questions, we are unlikely to find consensus, right? There's not one answer that's going to most likely sway everyone to one side or the other. And that's good. That's a good thing. That's how we show that we're working hard and using our head. An example of a bad question is something like, do some gangster rappers mention guns? Yeah, they do sometimes. Some have. So I'll post guiding questions. You're going to send me your guiding questions the day before whatever chapter is due. And then I'll post all of your questions. So there'll be 6. There's 6 groups. I'll post those 6 questions to Blackboard by the end of the day before class for you and your group to think about. Your groups, that should say. You do not need to submit a response, but you must at least read each question. And at the very least, all group members should have thoughtful answers to your own guiding questions, right? So if your group presents a guiding or sends a guiding question to me, and this will all be done on Blackboard. I need to fix that actually. Instead of submitting, I think your syllabus I've updated where you must submit your guiding question. Just going to make a note here. On Blackboard, not send it to me via email. Although if you happen to do that, that's not a big deal either. So I'll post all guiding questions to Blackboard by the end of the day. I just read all that. Okay, so that's guiding questions and your group organization. And all of your groups, you already have them. If you go to Blackboard, your groups have been randomly assigned. They just generate, Blackboard populates them for me and for you. So your groups are already together. Now let's look at the quizzes. Every chapter has a corresponding timed quiz on Blackboard. There's 14 chapters and you must complete 12 quizzes. You can do more for extra credit. Again, quizzes will only be available until 9 a.m. on the day in which we'll be discussing the related chapter. So for example, the quiz for chapter 1 must be completed by 9 a.m. on January 30th. So look here. So quiz 1 is for, because we're not taking quizzes in class. So that gives us more time to do other fun stuff in class. So quiz 1 is listed on the 30th right here. Q1 means quiz 1. So that means that you need to complete it by 9 a.m. on the 30th. And quiz 2 will also be available right then. Okay, and then we start doing every week, more or less. You'll see there's a week. And as soon as that day is over, at the end of February 8th, for example, quiz 4 will become available. So you'll have a whole week to complete it. Where was I? Right, the bold part. So, for example, the quiz for chapter 1 below must be completed by 9 a.m. on January 30th. Each quiz comprises 5 multiple choice questions and is timed. Quizzes are designed to take no more than 5 minutes. So I've made them, they're 5 questions. They're short, relatively short questions. If you've done the reading, they should take no more than 5 minutes, but I'm giving you 10 minutes to complete. Those of you that need more time, twice as much time to take the quiz, totally fine. 10 minutes feels reasonable for everyone. Blackboard quizzes may be new to you, so please take note of the following logistics. So just be careful here. Once you open a quiz on Blackboard, you must complete it within 10 minutes or your grade will be submitted based on the answers you did or did not provide. So if you only do 4 questions in 10 minutes, the quiz shuts down. You get the grade that you completed during that 10 minutes. I will not permit students to retake quizzes, so make sure you will not be interrupted and that you are using quality internet. So don't try and, I urge some people, right? Sometimes we can't help when we have time to do this. But ideally, you do the reading in plenty of advanced time and you carve out a space where you have 10 minutes to take care of it, right? Quiz questions and multiple choice answers are entirely randomized. Thus, no 2 quizzes will look the same. Okay, so that's your quizzes. Here's your course calendar. We're not going to go through this, but notice it looks like a lot of stuff, right? But it only, I mean, it is a fair amount of stuff, but it is what you see there, but consider what's going on. All of these Q1s are 5 question quizzes, right? All of these GQs are guiding questions. So you as a group are sending 1 question to me. So that takes up most of what you see here. And then there's the assignments, personal anecdote, the ragtime script, all of this material, all of these other things are detailed on Blackboard, okay? Participation counts for 10% of your grade. This class will be conducted following the Socratic method. In essence, this means that I and other students will suggest various ways of thinking about subjects to test and thereby strengthen or alter our ways of understanding those subjects. Therefore, you must do the assignment carefully and be prepared to critique them in class. Written assignments, 12-point Times New Roman double spaced, only your name. These actually you don't need to email me either. I'm going to make a note here. Again, if you do, that's fine. Late written assignments will drop 10% every day, including weekends. Plagiarism, academic honesty. There probably will be a new thing in here about ChatGPT. Most of the assignments are designed so that and we can have plenty of discussions about the merits of that. I'm not so aghast at its existence as I think other professors are. But if you're using someone else's work or some robot's work, you need to give it credit. And if anyone in compliance with policy and equal access laws, appropriate academic accommodations are offered for students with disabilities. You'll just need to register with the Accessibility Center. Get me that material as soon as you can, because it helps you and myself and the people that might be proctoring exams or tests or quizzes or whatever it might be to have all of that information. And no surprise to you, I'm sure, that CCNY is a slow moving and I was going to say well-oiled machine. It's a little creaky too, right? So the more on top of things you can be, the better it's going to be for all of us, right? So if those accommodations, if you're entitled to those accommodations, make sure I know about it as soon as possible, please. Okay, and then the schedule of classes, we're not going to go through all of these, but just take note that some days and you have reading, chapter 2, right? And then the next day, there's no reading, just listening and viewing. These are guiding questions that I'm providing just for you to think about, right? You don't need to send in any answers for that, just things for you to consider. And I think that's probably it, okay? Without going through all those. So it kind of cycles back and forth. One day is chapter 2, reading chapter 2. The next day is about the kind of, oftentimes related to that chapter, either transhistorically. So chapter 2 is all about minstrelsy and the kind of birth of popular culture in the United States. And session 4 is looking at other kind of resonances or discussions of minstrelsy that aren't just from the 1830s. So Flava Flav and Public Enemy, Chappelle Show, all of these other kinds of things with a lot of questions to think about. And yeah, that's it. All of your assignments, again, go to Blackboard to take a look at everything else. And looking forward to meeting everyone, or having met you already, since this is going to go up the night before we see each other. So you might most likely will be watching this after the fact, and that's fine too. Okay, take care. Email me with any questions, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.